Hello everyone. My name is Sarah Ritt. I'm an artist and a tarot reader. And today it feels as if what's coming to me is it feels as if we're in the midst of new projects. And yeah, trying to piece some things together and actually trying to do it with the power of what's coming to me, and I'll show you the energies that I'm getting here, the cards that I pulled. We have King of Swords, which logic is the first thing that comes up. So I think of him as more of a linear thinker. And also, naturally, because he's a king, he's a ruler. And so he's very accustomed to doing things his way with his brand of logic. You know, logic is really interesting because it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking that there's one kind of logic, there's one way to do things. My logic is right logic. And I do feel as if that can be one of the pitfalls of the energy of King of Swords. But the message that I'm getting here, coupled with Eight of Pentacles, this is very much like get to work kind of energy. And it's that feeling of, and I know I'm thinking of that wonderful website, Tarot Teachings, learning by doing. 8 is also a number of achievement, and this is earth energy. And so there's that feeling of really putting our minds to something and expecting a clear outcome. And maybe the way I'm interpreting this card is also through the filter of this energy, because they're coupled here. There's just this sense that there's a lot in motion. We are our own authority on something, and we're moving forward in a very, well, the phrase nuts and bolts kind of fashion is what's coming to me. So yeah, there's something in motion that's very, it just feels very, very non-ethereal today, very much like there are specific goals that we are right in the process of working to meet, and on our own terms. I think that's also what this energy is signifying. We want to do it our way, on our own terms. Or, you know, for some of us, we could be working for somebody else who has those very specific kind of rigid parameters around what they want. But it does feel as if in one way or another these energies are going hand in hand. So yeah, I'm also seeing Queen of Swords come up again. And the way this reads, I am still reading with a very just loose intuitive structure. I realized in a different reading I had compared it to Celtic Cross. It's not exactly. It's kind of the center of a Celtic cross, but missing the very center. So I'm just getting that feeling of past and then approaching. And what's going on in the present is very front and center. So when I show you the picture at the end of the reading, you'll get a sense. It kind of is and isn't the middle of a Celtic cross reading. But anyway, this energy, Queen of Swords, is coming up in what feels like a past position, which is very fitting because I feel like there's been a lot of this truth-telling energy and this need to really be upfront about what hasn't been working for us in different situations, you know? And yeah, so we've laid down some really important truths for ourselves, and now we're in the process of working new things out. And again, moving toward what we want. You know, it's like we've already named what we don't want. Thinking in terms of Abraham Hicks. Abraham talks a lot about the importance of knowing what we don't want, but then what else is there? You know, what is it that we do want? How are we defining that for ourselves? This, again, this feels like we're actively defining for ourselves what we want. And some really interesting cards going forward, because we have Knight of Cups reversed, and it's next to Hierophant reversed as well. And so, yeah, this is a really interesting message that I'm getting. Hierophant also is very authoritative, and with Hierophant, there is that feeling of working within structures, being on the same page with other people. You know, it can be that student-teacher thing, as other readers, other people have pointed out. Tarot Teachings talks about that too. This can be a spiritual teacher. You know, there's that component. But I also think of it in terms of conforming to other people's standards. So that can be a societal thing, that can be a governmental thing, it can be church, it can be any one group of people where a set of rules are being followed. And the way this feels to me is that, coupled with Knight of Cups reversed, this energy, it feels like future energy. And sometimes what I notice is that the cards that are inverted, they speak to that future energy. Their influences, or almost like, the way this feels is these two cards form a message going forward. So that's how it translates for me as a reader. So what this feels like is that there's more to learn about whatever these goals are that we are actively working toward. There's more to learn. And it may also be that there really is more wisdom to be attained, you know, as we're on this path for ourselves, as we are so actively diving into whatever work this is that feels like means to an end. That's what's coming to me. So we're working to meet these goals, right? But it's kind of like there's more to the puzzle than we're necessarily able to see right now, you know? So we're in a good place. Things are lining up. But yeah, it does feel like this may be about seeking further guidance from other people who maybe have a different wisdom and experience, you know? So going back to that theme of spiritual teachers, you know, it may be that there are those of us who are in a better position to guide those of us who are here. So, yeah, what it feels like is there are more messages, more information. Maybe that's a good way to put it. There's more information that we don't necessarily have access to right now, even as we're in a good place and we're making things happen for ourselves. There's more to be discovered. And that's kind of always true, isn't it? You know, there's always more, which goes right back to those teachings of Abraham Hicks. So often Abraham talks about there's always more, and whereas that can feel really vexing when you're right here, you know, you're in the thick of it, you just want whatever task you're doing to be completed. Abraham's point is there's a joy to there always being more, because it means there's always more for us to sink our teeth into. There's always more to be passionate about. There's always more to clarify our thoughts around and realize for ourselves. So yeah, it really, it does feel as if there are other people who may be able to give us kind of these a little bit more ethereal missing pieces of the puzzle. And that doesn't have to be annoying, you know? It, again, I can see how that might be perceived as frustrating because, again, this energy, it's like a finely tuned engine. It wants to go, go, go. It wants to perform, you know, and it wants to really just maybe follow its own path. But there are other people who are available to help with whatever path we're on. Maybe that's what it comes down to. There's more. It's okay that we can't do it all on our own, you know? And it's good. It's good that there are other teachers and other sources of wisdom to help us see a fuller picture. It feels like whatever information is here, it's important and it's life-giving, and it's kind of the stuff of all of those aha moments that we have when we have the epiphany, or when we can see a little bit more clearly what it is we're after for ourselves. So, yeah, and then I pulled one of my artworks. This is actually one that I'm not sure has ever come up for us. It feels very, to me it feels very much like parts in motion, which goes right back to this energy. It's like our engines are revving, we're actively doing things. You know, there's the sense I get from this one is there's a lot of, well, that silly phrase keeps coming back to me, nuts and bolts kind of energy. You know, I mean, even just the way in which the shapes in this one are so, to me, they feel a little bit big and clunky, but they're not getting in each other's way. There's just this sense of machinery. It's like moving parts, you know, and which is another thing from those Abraham teachings. Abraham talks about moving parts, you know, our engines are running, you know, there's a lot going on. I mean, this is a lot of, going back to that chakra thing, this is a lot of really grounded energy that feels like it's moving forward, or even just like humming along, you know, the way an engine revs. I keep coming back to that energy, you know, and again, you have this green here. Green and pink both speak to heart chakra energy. So it's like there's a lot of desire also with the orange. And then whatever goals we're moving toward, we're invested in some way. I feel like that's what this heart chakra color is speaking to. We're invested, but we're also going about it in such a way that's logical, and it may kind of be a bit of a clunky definition of logical or right, you know, and I think that's some of what I pick up on with King of Swords. There's this feeling of like unbudging logic. It's like, it's gotta move together in a very specific mechanical way. This energy feels somewhat mechanical to me, even as our hearts are right in there too. So it's like, maybe it's a bit like going through the motions of learning and doing and achieving, and recognizing what it is we desire that's at the perceived end of that, you know. And I think that there's a feeling here that even as all of the parts are flowing together and moving along smoothly and finely tuned, there's still more to the puzzle. There's still more that will serve as a catalyst to broadening our perspective on whatever it is that we are doing, but also trying to do. It's like we can have more than we're able to see when we're here. There's an importance to being here, and there's actually a beauty to the mechanism in being here, right? There really is a powerful harmony in that kind of firepower, you know? Even as fire is like the one element that I'm not seeing here, but still there's and actually maybe there's a little bit of fire in here too. It's like those parts of the engine, the cylinders, they're firing, right? There's so much momentum to the forward movement that we're achieving for ourselves that it's so easy to forget that there's even more. There's even more that can satisfy us. And it does require us to maybe get a little bit out of just being in this mode of doing, you know? It's a little bit like, okay, step back, take in the scenery, reflect, you know? And again, I feel like there are other people, other teachers, maybe other teachers, and not necessarily in a formal sense at all, you know, but other people who are there to teach us and give us a little bit of wisdom that we could really use, you know, a little extra something that will feel more ethereal and may not feel practical or grounded, or it may feel completely at odds with getting things done, but it's there to help us. And again, I really feel like applied wisdom with forward motion, that's a powerful combination, and that's going to help us out a lot in whatever we're trying to achieve here. I am getting this extra message that we're well on our way, you know? It's just that there's even more. So I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that it hasn't been too frustrating. If it's been frustrating for some of you, I apologize. I know that sometimes readings can be frustrated because they can just take these left turns that we're not expecting, that feel so at odds with what we want. But there's a wisdom in that too, and there's an importance in that too. And I think I'm coming to value that a little bit more as I get older and as I mature as a reader. So I hope that you all have a wonderful day. For those of you interested in contributing monetarily to me and to this channel, you can check out my Patreon link down below. Patreon is a really lovely way in which those of you interested can donate monthly and receive different benefits. So yeah, please, if you're interested, go ahead and check out my link. That is a whole other project I've been really passionate about and I've gotten a lot of enjoyment from. And for all of you, again, I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that you find great satisfaction in whatever it is you've set in motion for yourselves. Because clearly there's a lot of power to whatever you're doing. You know, there's a lot of purpose and there's a lot of power. I think that's what my my brain is trying to communicate at you. So yeah, I will see you again soon. Bye for now.